Welcome back to Switched to Linux. Well, today we want to talk a little bit about why we have to push back, use Linux, use free and open source tools, push back against data collection at every turn. Some of you may have seen, some of you may not have seen, but this week the Pfizer CEO, as Albert Bourla, was speaking at the World Economic Forum and kind of said some of the quiet parts out loud.
It is basically a biological chip that it is in the tablet, and once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance.
Of course, he was talking about this new amazing medication that they want to be able to put in for compliance. Of course, compliance means making sure that people are taking their medicines the way that they should. And this data just goes on out to everybody who might want to be informed. The doctors, the government, the state health boards, all those different people out there that, they're probably the last people that we really want involved and figure out what in the world we're doing. And of course, this is a company that's gotten rich off of government contracts over the course of the last few months, or last few years, I should say. Now, here is the thing about this, though. I did a little bit of digging. I wanted to find the articles and kind of verify the information. And it turns out that this is not actually the first time a medication has come out with these promises of being able to track if somebody's actually taken their pills. The first one was actually already FDA approved in November of 2017. This is a schizophrenia drug called MySight. It is embedded with a wireless microchip that can send a signal to a patch that you wear on your skin that will detect that you have taken your medication, and then this will sync the data and feed it into a phone app. And of course, your family members, the health department, your hospital, or your doctor can view all of that information. Now, of course, you launch this for some medication that, I really need to make sure that my elderly parents are taking their pills. And so you have the app and they have the app, and then you can double check and make sure. And everyone's like, see, this is such a beautiful application. The problem is when the ministry of whatever at whatever organization or agency gets a hold of such data, now it becomes this very bad and very dangerous thing. And we're talking about this on this channel because all of this starts with us not thinking about the basic fundamentals of privacy and of freedom and of our own personal choices. And this is where it ties back into FOSS and Linux. We have to make sure that when we are getting out there and doing the things that we are doing, we are utilizing things that respect our freedoms, respect our choices, and respect our data. You see, if you just don't have a little bit of pushback, you're just mildly mad about Windows collecting some data, be like, whatever, I just gotta deal with a new thing. Well, this is the steady slope that drips back down. Of course, C.S. Lewis wrote in his book Screwtape Letters that the safest path to hell is gradual, soft underfoot, without guide stones or mileposts. Because you look back and you realize how far it is. It's kind of like one day I was mentoring this kid, and he was a little frightened. He was a kid with a lot of mental issues going on, and scared of a lot of things. So we start hiking up this mountain. It wasn't like a huge mountain, just large hill. We start going up there, and he doesn't really like heights as much. He stops and turns around. It's like immediately, whoa, I'm scared. Like, don't worry, turn around, focus on the problem going up. He didn't realize until turning around how far he had gone. Well, that's what happens to us. We do not realize how far things have slipped when we sit back and we just go, I'm just going to accept this and accept that. And eventually We will accept the fact that every pill and medication that we have has embedded microchips that will feed data through our cell phones back to whatever government agency would like to know that information. Probably it's going to start with your insurance company. Your insurance company wants that information because, you know, if you're not really taking your medications like you should be, they don't feel justified in paying for anything. And if you're not doing exactly what the doctor says, well, they have no real motivation to get out there and pay your bills. You're just an irresponsible person. So this is where this starts to go to. So this is why we need to focus on our basis. We need to stop and say, hey, maybe it's important for us to take a little bit more stock in what's going on around us. We need to open up our eyes a little bit more. And even if something is a little bit more inconvenient, it might be better our time to get in there and focus on what is true and privacy respecting, because I don't need my phone tracking what medications I'm doing and sending this up to all sorts of people that I have no earthly idea who they are, be they governments, be they insurance companies, be they doctors, family members, or whatever else. I don't want any of that. Just like I don't want my operating system scanning the files on my computer to determine if what is on there is not in vogue with the current politics of the day. You know, of course, it starts with CSAM, because who would not want to ban CSAM? Yay on Apple, we're going to put in applications to get rid of CSAM. Yeah, but when is a simple meme of Pepe the Frog going to be considered completely racist and hateful, and now everybody who has a meme of Pepe the Frog needs reported to the police? That's the exact technology capabilities that Apple's building into their systems as we speak. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm okay if it costs a little bit of inconvenience, but the reality is, the more and more I use Linux, it's not all that inconvenient at all. In fact, it works just fine. This is why I encourage you, if you stumble upon this, look up information on these new wireless medications, your first step is to start thinking about all of the things around us and thinking about the steps you need to do. Get yourself off of Windows, get yourself off of Mac, at least for your research purposes, for your personal time, anything you do not absolutely have to have on those particular operating systems. Because it starts with grabbing back some of your privacy little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit. And when you grab enough of that back, you will be able to look back and say, hey, I have control over what I am doing. So with that in mind, I wanted to go ahead and encourage you all, look at the things you're doing, look at the phones, look at the operating systems, look at all of this stuff that is going on, and take back control of your life. Don't let them put wireless chips inside of your medications, and certainly don't let anything approve monitoring and tracking any such things. That's a bunch of nonsense. Well, we're going to leave this one here for now. Thanks for watching. You know, I'm doing these outside videos from time to time. People seem to like them. You can actually see where I'm traveling around if you follow on my travel YouTube channel at Tux Travel. I'll have that in the description down below there. But you can follow along with the current locations where I happen to be at. Actually, I'm usually about a month or so behind. But anyway, you can actually see some cool things. You can see how I do work offline and things like that. But anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.